The SummerSlam 2024 is officially in the books, and although the WWE roster did an outstanding job across the board of one of the biggest premium live events of the calendar year, the show wasn't exactly immune from botches and blunders. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at things that weren't supposed to happen at SummerSlam 2024. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. Number 1. The Seth Rollins interview. The SummerSlam pre-show featured a snippet of a sit-down interview between Seth Rollins and Michael Cole. The interview discussed Rollins' role as special guest referee in the CM Punk vs Drew McIntyre match, and eagle-eyed viewers noticed something was off about the interview. Well, it turned out that this interview was filmed before Money in the Bank last month. The location and attire of both men was the exact same as the interview that aired during Money in the Bank, and WWE didn't even bother to act like the interview was recent.
Ahead of tonight's World Heavyweight Championship match, #1 contender Seth freaking Rollins. So it's SummerSlam, two men that you have a long history with.
This was a rare miss from the WWE and their production team. There's no way the WWE didn't think fans wouldn't notice, especially in an area where continuity is king. The decision to record the segment of the interview before Money in the Bank seemed like an odd call, as Rollins had been on every Raw for the past 2 months, so there have been endless opportunities for WWE to reshoot the footage. It just comes down to laziness and WWE believing that the fans aren't switched on enough to care. Number 2. Bronbreaker almost lands on his head. Bronbreaker successfully won the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam, and in typical Breaker fashion, he almost hurt himself in the match. During a spot in the match, Sami Zayn would go for some kind of backdrop, and as Breaker managed to escape it, he had an awkward backwards landing and almost spiked himself on the ring mat. These types of botches for Breaker are becoming common, but it's unlikely anything to be too concerned about, as Breaker always seemed fine afterwards. It's just his intensity gets the better of him. But with that being said, WWE clearly have huge plans for Breaker, and it'd hardly be surprising if Breaker becomes world champion within the next few years. Number 3. Michael Cole's stat error. Michael Cole is without question a wrestling historian, but even he's prone from a botch from time to time, as during the start of Sami Zayn vs Bronbreaker at SummerSlam, Cole would declare that the Ultimate Warrior won his first title at SummerSlam in 1990. This is incorrect, as Warrior actually won his first Intercontinental title back in 1988. In hindsight, it's not a huge deal, and Cole will likely kick himself when he was watching the show back, or when someone from WWE management corrects him on his factual slip-up. This wasn't the only time in the show that Cole made the blunder though. During the CM Punk vs Drew McIntyre match, Cole declared that Punk was a 3-time world champion, when in reality, he's a 5-time world champion. Now it's possible that Cole was referring to strictly the WWE world title, however he also stated that McIntyre was a 3-time world champion when 2 of McIntyre's reigns came as WWE champion, so it was likely a slip of the tongue. Accidents can happen, of course, when you're live on air. Number 4. LA Knight can't smash the window. Before LA Knight made his entrance at SummerSlam, he would attempt to break the window of the Prime truck. Despite using a weapon to break the window, LA's first attempt failed, and he was forced to use a second strike to break the window. Now, this would have been a live take, and LA recovered quickly to make this spot work. It would have been insanely awkward if LA had failed to break the window, especially with the segment being live. Now, it used to be common practice in WWE for them to outright ignore botches on television. However, since Triple H took over WWE Creative, they tend to embrace the botches and address the fact that they are a live production and anything can happen. Pat McAfee would even reference the botch, which was humorous, and it was done in a way which didn't make LA Knight look stupid. Number 5. Brainbuster. The US title match between Logan Paul and LA Knight received rave reviews, yet there was one botch spot that caused alarm. When LA jumped up the turnbuckle to suplex Paul, Paul didn't quite rotate on the suplex, and this meant that Logan in theory took some kind of modified brainbuster. It looked incredibly painful, especially because Logan clearly hadn't positioned his body to take that kind of bump. The referee for the match instantly propelled into action as he would check on Logan to make sure he was okay, and thankfully, based on Logan's performance for the rest of the match, this botch could have been down to a lack of experience from Logan and a case of miscommunication, as it looked like Logan wasn't aware of what move he was about to take. Logan is still incredibly new to wrestling, so botches of this nature are gonna happen, and the more that Logan wrestles, the less these botches will occur. And now that Logan has dropped the US title, it's unclear what's next for him. It's believed that he's still under contract, so it's unknown if he'll continue his feud with LA Knight or will begin a new feud when he eventually returns to WWE programming. There is the element that Logan's foot was under the rope during the final 1, 2, 3, but what does this a botch, or was it purposely done so Logan had a genuine reason for a rematch? Both are strong possibilities, and it'll be interesting to see how the US title scene develops in the coming weeks and months. Number 6. A rushed ending. The ending of the Bayley vs Nia Jax match seemed rather rushed, and one of the spots during the finish appeared to be botched. When Tiffany Stratton interfered, Jax failed to take advantage of the situation. It looked like Bayley went for a takedown on Jax, but Jax failed to move, so she awkwardly fell backwards, and Bayley acted in the moment and delivered a pin using Jax's legs. Jax was previously prone to reckless and dangerous botches, but thankfully her second run has been a vast improvement, and this botch wasn't remotely dangerous. It was just a case of a brief miscommunication during an incredibly rushed climax to the title match. Jax is now women's champion in the WWE for the first time since her return, and based on her recent performance, fans are very happy that Jax is getting a run, and hopefully she continues to elevate her work as a performer during the respective reign. Number 7. The Ref Cam. WWE's new production directive went one step further at SummerSlam this year as they debuted new referee cameras. These cameras were similar to the ones used in WCW and TNA, and the idea behind the gimmick is that fans watching at home can see the action just like the referee. Whilst the idea on paper sounds exciting, the execution never seems to work, and SummerSlam was no exception. WWE would continuously cut to the referee camera throughout the show, yet they would just last a few seconds before WWE would awkwardly cut away. The footage that WWE would show looked like footage from the 70s, as it would be blurry and would appear to have some kind of weird filter embedded into it. WWE clearly noticed that the referee camera wasn't working as well as intended, as the gimmick would be used less and less as the show went on, and this was likely a Triple H call. Triple H has been open regarding to WWE trying new production techniques, and not all of them are going to be successful. However, there did seem to be another reason, as Corey Brennan of Fightful.com was told that the battery pack fell off on the referee cam during McIntyre vs Punk, and Rollins made the decision to take the camera off. No heat on Seth, as it was seen as a possibility beforehand. Ultimately, the referee camera had no positive impact on the viewing experience for fans, and it would be a bold move if WWE used the gimmick for the next premium live event, which is going to be Bash in Berlin at the end of the calendar month. If WWE do look to reuse the gimmick, then they have to work on the quality of the shots in question, otherwise it's a completely pointless idea. Number 8. The Missing Headbutt. The main event of SummerSlam saw Solo Sikoa challenge Cody Rhodes for the WWE title, and the match featured numerous botches. One of the first botches in the match saw Sikoa trap Rhodes into the ropes, and Sikoa would proceed to deliver a running headbutt. Now, it was obvious that Sikoa made little to no contact with the head strike, so Michael Cole as always offered a kayfabe explanation.
I don't think he got all of it because he got caught up in the rope.
Cole would explain that Sikoa got stuck in the ropes upon his delivery, and whilst this didn't appear to be the case, this was a logical explanation for the botch, which was greatly appreciated. Number 9. The Moonsault. Cody Rhodes' moonsaults are usually executed to perfection, but his moonsault during SummerSlam was slightly botched. Rhodes would under-rotate somewhat upon landing, and whilst this looked like a botched variation of the moonsault, it was actually incredibly safe, as Sikoa could catch Rhodes with ease and safely bring him down to the mat. Number 10. Steel Steps Malfunction. One of the weapon's base spots in the match saw Solo Sikoa attempt to set his steel steps up in the corner. Hilariously, the steps kept falling over Sikoa, so we had to modify how they were set up. Sikoa was quick to recover from the weapon malfunction, and the spot was able to continue as planned. Number 11. Jacob Fatu injures himself. Jacob Fatu made an appearance during the main event of SummerSlam, and he was on fire as always. Jacob always delivers some high velocity spots during the match, and this was no exception. But when he went up to the top turnbuckle to splash through the table with Cody Rhodes on it, it seems that he hit his leg right on the announce table, and this caused him immense pain. Obviously, this wasn't supposed to happen, and Jacob Fatu was in legitimate pain during the show. Fatu was so bad that he couldn't put any weight on his leg and had to be helped to the back. Now, reports suggest that Jacob Fatu is okay, but it just goes to show how dangerous pro wrestling can be, and one slight misstep can take you out for months. But there you have it, folks. Everything that wasn't supposed to happen at SummerSlam 2024. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.